Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by Dr. Kenan Morris, University Chaplain.
What we call an end, the poet tells us, is often a beginning. What we are is the answer that we are giving to the call of a future still in the making. Today, the class of summer 1986 graduates and receives the human signs of accomplishment and learning, the reward of labor, and the prize of perseverance. This end, too, is a beginning, the point from which each graduate takes a new step and begins to take the measure of the house that is still to be built, of the house that each graduate and all humankind must call home, a home as small as the heart and as wide as a world. Our Father, we offer you thanks for the blessing of our intelligence, for the power of our freedom, and for the work of love that you have given into our keeping. Father, open our eyes and ears to your word as it comes to us anew each day, so that we may truly understand that, for all its greatness and beauty, humanity is not enough. We celebrate today both a task accomplished and a task still to come, the building of the city of God, a city of living stones. Send over us the spirit of light and understanding, that we may come to the knowledge that surpasses all understanding and leads all peoples to peace. Help us to make our own your living word, so that all peoples may indeed know that we are all brothers and sisters, all children of the one Father. Amen.
Now please meet the Chancellor of the Daytona Beach campus, Eric S. Stoughton.
Please be seated. It's my pleasure to welcome the families and friends of the graduates and our community friends, as well as our distinguished guests, to this, the most important and certainly the most anticipated event on the part of the graduates on our academic calendar, and that is graduation. A photography area is available for those of you who would like to take pictures in the front of the auditorium, so please come up, take your pictures, and then as a courtesy to others, return to your seat so that everyone may have an opportunity. Also, we would like to remind you that there will be a reception for families and friends of the graduates at the University Center on the campus immediately following the ceremony. Now it's my pleasure to present the president of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Mr. Kenneth L. Tallman, who will introduce the speaker for today. President Tallman.
Members of the graduating class, parents, friends, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to add my welcome to all of you here this morning. At the outset, let me congratulate each of the graduates and the parents. You are the ones who deserve our accolades on this special day. You know, one of the more rewarding things about being a university president is the opportunity to introduce commencement speakers. And it's most rewarding when I have the privilege of introducing a speaker who is not only an outstanding American of great accomplishment, but a personal friend as well. I speak of General Russell E. Doherty, distinguished aviator, military planner, strategist, attorney, publisher, patriot, distinguished son of Kentucky. As an enlisted member of the Kentucky National Guard, General Doherty joined the Army Air Corps at the outbreak of World War II as an aviation cadet. From that memorable day, he compiled a record of achievement, both military and civilian, deserving of the highest recognition. Along the way, a couple of interesting sidelights were that, one, a thing that has helped Russ in the public relations area throughout the years is that Tennessee Ernie Ford was his bombardier on his World War II B-17 aircraft. The second item is that General Doherty is one of the few lawyers, if not the only lawyer in my memory, to have served as a senior military commander. See, after World War II, he went into law school, got his degree, came back into the Air Force as a lawyer, and then transferred back into the line. For those of you going through ROTC into the Air Force, that's a rather unusual way to get to the top, and I wouldn't advise it. On 1 June of this year, General Doherty retired as the Executive Director of the Air Force Association. He has held this post since retiring from the Air Force as the Commander-in-Chief of the Strategic Air Command. He retired from the Air Force in 1977, and in the ensuing 9 years, he has advanced the cause of air power manyfold as the Executive Director of the Air Force Association, and he's greatly enhanced both the national and the international image of the association. And so our speaker this morning is a leader, a man who's combined political astuteness, legal experience to forge a very successful career. And he's combined it all with an unusually winning personality. Some say he has never met a person he didn't like. And having traveled in the same circles with him for almost three decades, I know that the reverse is also true. So it's my great honor and pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, who I might add is also an Embry-Riddle graduate, and I'll let him tell you about that. General Russell E. Doherty.
Thank you very much, President Tallman and Chairman Spruance and Mr. Riddle, graduates of this summer session, and distinguished trustees, faculty, students, parents and friends and loved ones of graduates. I thank you for inviting me and my wife Barbara here today. I thank you for many diverse reasons. As an aside to the audience, let me explain that I have known President and Mrs. Tallman for 30 years. I've known them as real key players and real prime movers in the Air Force which I served, and certainly a widely respected senior couple. I owe the Tallmans a lot, and I'm grateful to General Tallman for this opportunity to be a part of the commencement for this great aeronautical university he heads. I like to think, Ken, it's the second great aeronautical university that you've headed, because we were very proud to have him as the superintendent of our Air Force Academy. To the entire university family, I think I should observe that you are fortunate indeed to have a couple such as the Tallmans, and to have a competent and vigorous leader such as Ken Tallman here for Embry-Riddle. Then, as an aside to the trustees, I want to note that my association with your chairman, the board, retired Brigadier General Bill Spruance. Bill has been one of the most meaningful friends of my last 2 decades. He had a leading role in the safety program of the Strategic Air Command, which I was privileged to lead in the mid-70s, and for years I've shared his intense interest in the Air National Guard. We've been fellow board members of the Air Force Association for the past 6 years, and throughout these associations I've witnessed firsthand Bill Spruance's unusual dedication to our nation, his marked effectiveness, and his unlimited generosity in serving the nation's interests, particularly his intense interest in service to the educational programs of our young men and women. I'm honored to be with him and among you for this memorable occasion. And to the graduating seniors, let me confess straight away that the visit gives me cause to envy your future to covet your youth, and to relive the excitement of my own early years, and yes, experience a little jealous twinge of nostalgia as I see you on the threshold of exciting pursuits in the broad area of aviation and aeronautical achievements. And then importantly, with the youth and vigor to change things. With the youth, the vigor, the smarts to shake steeples and to challenge traditions and hopefully change our world for the better. And I hope that change for the better becomes your objective, because change for change's sake is not enough. And change just because you're smart enough and strong enough to pull it off is indeed bad for all of us. And then finally to Mr. Paul Riddle. And Mr. Riddle, I want you to know that this visit gives me a very personal enjoyment, because as General Tallman indicated, I'm deeply grateful to Embry Riddle. And I don't want to go back too far, but that predates my gratitude for this day, though I'm surely grateful for this day and the academic honors that you're bestowing on me. But in the spring of 1942, this venerable organization that bears Mr. Paul Riddle's name, Embry Riddle, taught me to fly. They taught me how to navigate, how to understand, savor, and enjoy fully the exciting profession of aviation. I went to primary flying school at a beautiful Embry Riddle facility, Carlstrom Field in Arcadia, Florida. I know you remember that, Mr. Riddle, and that was one of the jewels in all of our crowns. I guarantee you not all Air Force installations were like that, but it was a splendid flying facility. You taught me well, you kept me challenged, you kept me inspired and motivated. And the basic preparation you gave me for the role as military aviator was thorough and professional. And I'm grateful for this solid foundation, and I want to take this opportunity to say my thanks to you and to Embry Riddle. And then I hope in the years ahead, you graduates of this commencement will be able to reflect back on the excellence of your aeronautical education, your academic preparation received here with the same degree of approbation and appreciation that I have. When one is invited to come and be a commencement speaker on an occasion such as this, it's not something that you take lightly. Your graduation is an event of the first magnitude for you, as it is for your university. So the obligations of a commencement speaker are great indeed. He or she has to develop lofty principles, and it has to describe life's challenges and pitfalls and thresholds that you're crossing. Importantly, you got to make no mistakes in this preparation that might steer you wrong or give you some bad advice. Well, I was no exception. I understand fully the measure of excellence that you expect of me, because I responded to President Tallman's invitation with a full measure of enthusiasm, and I know what I'm getting into. I was determined not to disappoint him or you, and I was determined to develop an inspirational, articulate charge to you graduates that would launch you into your professions and into your technical pursuits with the thrust equal to one of NASA's big space boosters down south. And so to inspire me and to channel my thinking into these substantive matters that I intended to develop, I started reflecting on my many commencement experiences. I wanted to capture the essence of those inspired addresses given us on those memorable days. I went all the way back to my high school graduation, my college graduation, law school graduation, pilot training, graduate courses at Oxford University, command and staff, National War College, specialized training of all sorts, even dedications and national celebrations. My reflections were exhaustive, and to my complete surprise and chagrin, I couldn't come up with a single thing. I couldn't remember or reconstruct a single phrase. I couldn't capture one thought expressed by those distinguished speakers on those auspicious occasions. In fact, I couldn't even remember a single one of the speakers. Well, I rationalized, that's just a perturbation. And so my memory needs a bit of prodding, so I got into my many files and records, and I started digging through to reconstruct the names of the men. And yes, ladies, I hate to say I remember them all as being men. This is something we've corrected in later years, and I'm sorry for that. But as you guessed by now I couldn't come up with a single program either. But I did find something that my mother had squirreled away years ago, and it was my graduation from aviation cadets. And the reason she squirreled that away is because we were privileged to have a very famous man address us that day, General Hap Arnold, who was chief of the Army Air Forces. And I thought, now I've really found something. You know, I've found the mother lode, and I'm sure this will be a real watershed of wisdom and pearls of advice, but unfortunately, the memories I had of that occasion just aren't relevant. First, he was one of the few real generals I'd ever seen, and I was impressed by that. Then I remember he arrived in the shiniest airplane I ever saw, and I wondered how many hours of polishing on that aluminum it took to get that alclad look. He looked a lot like my dad because they were the same age. And then the most pleasant recollection of all was he didn't talk very long. So I was able to get off that stage and get out of there quickly and get married. I remember a lot about the marriage, but it's not useful in a commencement speech. But surely I thought there's something wrong with me. I've got to be particularly forgetful or particularly inattentive. So I tried out a few of my respected friends that I knew had been down roads of this sort to see what reaction I got from their experiences. And fortunately, for my peace of mind, their lack of recollection was exactly like mine. Not a one of them could remember a single useful phrase. One, a prominent lawyer, was formerly a Supreme Court judge's clerk. And these are really brilliant guys, you know. Then another was a senior vice president of one of the nation's largest firms. The third one I went to was a Rhodes Scholar in his youth, now a lawyer in Washington. And he has a notable photographic memory. And he told me, he says, I can recall all the jokes. He said, in fact, it's my way of keeping my mind clean that I only remember the important things, and that's the way I keep from getting too cluttered, so I don't remember the names of any of them. And another one, a U.S. Senator, told me that all he remembered was that the speakers at his commencements kept turning pages. And they used a written text and they turned pages. And this irritant caused him to focus on how many pages had been turned and to conject on how many more he had to suffer through, you know, and he didn't remember a thing. The senator did say, though, that he learned a very practical lesson from that, and ever since then, he's never used a text. Or if he did, he didn't put it in a ring binder so he could just slide the pages in a way that the audience wouldn't see them and count them. Well, you see where I'm going with all this. It's become obvious to me and validated with the experience of my friends that nothing I say today is going to hurt you. And that nobody's going to long remember what I say, no matter how artfully I craft the text. And that, I guess, is as it should be. I wouldn't want my failure of performance to damage your career, because what's important and memorable today is exactly what the chaplain has said. It's what you've done that brings this day about. You're going to remember the day forever, not because of me or what I say, but because of what you've done and what you've achieved and what's being recognized and validated here by your university in a very practical way that will launch you into the professional career or will enhance to a master's degree the career that you've already started. It's a real transition day from a learning phase to a doing phase. And I deliberately did not say the learning phase because I hope there will be many learning phases in your life. I hope that you will never stop completely the process of learning. If you do, that's when you stop being an educated person. Well, suffice to say that my research gives me a little freedom to talk about some things that I think I should. First, I want to compliment you on the quality of the credentials that you're going to receive from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. I think you've chosen wisely the unique environment for your degrees, and I'd like to observe the outstanding reputation of your country, of your university that exists throughout the country. In the field of aviation, there is no better laboratory from which to launch than this one. The faculty is known for its excellence and primarily for having validated abstract wisdoms of textbooks by extensive practical experiences and actual performance. And I can't begin to tell you just how important that's going to be to you in the years to come. And then I hope that among your teachers and your learning experiences here at Embry-Riddle, there were not people that just taught you how to do it, how to learn it, but that gave you some of the richness of life that is unique to a university experience. I was fortunate to have had such an experience in college. I want to take just a minute and share it with you in the hope that you have had a similar one, or that you will have a similar one. And also it gives me a chosen theme for my remarks that I challenge you to try to remember. Don't expect you to, but I hope you'll try. Among the teachers I had in university, one stuck out as a great teacher. And teacher is a beautiful word, and she personified the word teacher. She made you a part of the total experience of education. She gave you a richness and excited your curiosity, and she wanted to expand your mind. Her name was Miss Frances Richards. And would that every university has a Miss Frances Richards, and that every student at every university has a Frances Richards experience. She was in the English department, and she taught Shakespeare. And her classes were always sellouts, and I managed to get into the sophomore Shakespeare class, and sure enough, it was exactly as advertised. She immersed herself in you and the subject. Time stood still in the lessons, and you learned something from every day. But on a particular day, Miss Frances Richards was taking us through King Richard. And she gave the text of expanded blow-up that just stuck in my mind. I rolled it around in my mind for days, and now it's lasted me all my life. It's become my personal motto, and it's one that is the greatest gift I can give you, is to tell you that this has served me well in some real tough times. King Richard had been exiled from England, and he'd come back slipping ashore at night, walked down through his beloved England, saw that it was wasted, it was run down, it was filthy, uncultivated. He was distressed, he was overwrought, and he sat on a large stone, and as Shakespeare writes, and he wept bitter tears. The wise old bishop and his entourage came along and tapped the king on the shoulder and said, "Arise, my lord. Wise men near sit and wail their woes, but are up in a doing presently to prevent the ways to wail." Boy, what a lesson came out of that for me, and she really put it in focus. How useful it's been in the years that followed. She pointed out a magnificent formula for handling difficult situations, frustrating situations. Don't sit and wail your woes. That's no solution to problems. Get up, get off your duff, get going, and do something to eliminate the cause of the trouble. That's a particularly good formula for an aviator, because there's always something coming along that somebody's got to do something about it. And you can't just sit there and wail your woes. It stood me in good stead, but without a good teacher to guide me to it, I would have missed it completely, or I would have not have noticed it, and I would not have savored the richness of it. Now there's more to this. Let me share this anecdotal recollection. In 1975, I was invited back to my undergraduate university, and in my commencement remarks, I related this personal experience, hoping that they would remember, as I hope that you will remember. To my complete surprise, after the ceremony, who should appear at the podium but an attractively dressed, beautifully coiffured, delicate little lady, Miss Frances Richards. My goodness, she had to be well up in years. I never dreamed she was in the audience, but there she was. And after a warm greeting, she said, "Russell, I would appreciate your giving me a copy of that speech." And I said to Miss Richards, "Well, I only have the notes that I've written here, one copy, but you're welcome to it." And so I gave it to her on the spot. Would you believe that 2 weeks later, I got that script back in the mail. All my errors were carefully annotated. My paragraphs were straightened out. The paper was corrected, and up in the upper left-hand corner was the overall grade of B-. Boy, what a teacher. God bless him, you know. But let me come back a minute to the learning process. It's so important to all of us. It's been my observation that the great intellectuals of our time, and I've been privileged to be associated with too few, are always in the process of learning. and they're always teaching, and they're always learning, and they're always teaching. It's a never-ending thing for educated men and women. It's a never-ending process for the person who would be a truly educated man or woman. Several months ago, Tallman mentioned, I retired from the Air Force Association and retired as publisher of Air Force Magazine, and I thought long and hard about my final editorial for the magazine because there's so much to write about in the field of aviation. It's so dynamic, fast-moving. But I wound up electing to write on this process I just mentioned, this process of learning, teaching, and learning, because it's at the very heart of progress for mankind. And if there's one obligation of educated men and women, it's to further that process and the richness of mankind. We've got to be prepared ourselves through constant learning, and then just as capitalism is our economic theory, and just as capitalism requires a plowback, true education requires you to plow back into your society and into the minds of your fellow men and subsequent generations the essence of what you've learned through academic, practical experience, or hopefully both. We just must accept the obligation of being teachers. Providing example, encouraging curiosity, inspiring wonder, explaining the necessity for personal discipline. All these things that are the cores of true education. If we fail to respond to this, and I call it a dynamic imperative of our time, we're going to deserve the hedonistic drift that will result. And we'll find then that our contributions of time and effort are progressively more impotent and more irrelevant. No place is going to need you, and no place is going to need this discipline in teaching more than in the scientific and engineering and technical endeavors that so many of you are going to be undertaking. You particularly are going to find that our society is becoming more and more incapable of handling the challenges of a highly technical period in our development. We're drifting, some say we've already drifted, into a period of scientific and technological illiteracy. They may be right, but the difference is just a matter of degree, for the fact is you're going to find that the excellence of your education and your knowledge of engineering and technical skills is going to be unmatched and unequaled in the technical base you'll find in our country. In my judgment, it's going to be the lot of you with excellent engineering skills and understanding to make up, to correct, and hopefully to reverse the nation's apathy in its technical strength, its vitality, and its productivity. Without extraordinary effort by you and others like you, we stand to lose that vitally important educational and technical edge that's kept our nation from becoming second best in things that are really crucial to our security and to our well-being. It does not seem to be a lack of theoretical scientific skills that we are short of. Rather, it's a decline in the numbers and quality of skilled engineers and skilled technicians, absolutely vital to the quality and productive capacity of the nation. We've been able to offset cheap products by our productive capacity and still maintain the quality of that production. We've been able to offset cheap labor, mass-produce low-quality products through quality, reliability, and utility and smart. And we're going to abandon our productivity of quality products at great cost and even greater risk for our nations. And I encourage us not to do that, not to become a dependent nation in the things that are essential. Our nation has had to accept great nation responsibility simply because history and circumstance have placed it around our shoulders. They placed the role of free leader on us because we were the only nation that could handle it. Now, you can argue over why don't this nation do more, why doesn't that nation do more? That situation still prevails. There's no one to pick up the ball if we drop it. And there's no way we're going to avoid that leading role. And in the past, we've had the industrial strength and the fiscal vigor and the national determination to face up to this responsibility and to do it with dignity and do it with example. And we still can, if we will. But if we drop that ball of leadership, and I say leadership, not domination, because anybody that understands America knows that hegemony is not our bag. There's no one left to pick it up, not on our side at least. We can't retreat from this international responsibility, even though it's unforgiving, it's not always appreciated, and it's certainly not without constant cost. But if we try to withdraw, if we try to isolate ourselves and disengage, then in my opinion we'll not be less burdened, more secure, or more free of responsibility, but rather I think we're going to find ourselves more burdened, our risk greater, and our fundamental values seriously endangered. And certainly that's true in those who would work in aviation and astronautics, because if there is a single aspect of aviation and astronautics that describes its importance to the world, that single word to me is access. Access anywhere in this world, and possibly soon in beyond this world, for any purpose, good or evil. Aviation provides access like nothing else. Yes, the Navy used to say the world is 7/8 covered in water. I would observe that it's 100% covered in air. And access is global, and we can't run from it. We are in and of this world. The compression of time and distance and communications that the technology you all represent has brought about has long since denied the choice of pursuing an isolationist path. And those who would advocate it are soothsayers. We can't run away from involvement. We can't wish away threats. We can't advocate great nation responsibility. So I urge you to use your skills, smarts, and resources to do what must be done and to do it better. Remember, wise men ne'er sit and wail their woes. Truly, we are in a period of uncertainty and disarray, and it's a trying time for our country, but terrorism and low-grade conflict is far preferable to the full-scale world wars and conflicts of prior years. So remember that be sure and put things in perspective. If we stay on course, and we recognize that we can stay on course, and we can make deterrence of major conflict work, we should. We must. And you're far better prepared by education and experience to cope with problems than any comparable group or any comparable nation has ever been, and that's important. And what's more, you're better prepared to cope with these dynamic changes than any generation that's preceded you, and that's important too. I urge you to live up to the obligations of highly educated men and women. Accept an extra measure of civic obligation for our government. Get involved in the process of government and in the process of education. Understand the issues of our security. Understand our welfare programs, our national mores, and the tendencies and drifts. Use to the fullest the experience, the wisdom, the maturity developed here at the university. Be aware of your environment, and by all means be a participant in your nation's affairs and not just a spectator. We've got too many spectators. It's easy, it's popular in some circles to criticize and find fault and tear things down. But the real test is to be constructive in the changes that you make. Not just replace something old with something new, but replace it with something better. Better for all of our people. You have what it takes to do these things and to do them well. And it's absolutely certain, immutable, that you will take over from my generation, our generation, and you'll carry the principal responsibilities of our nation into the 21st century. The success of our economy, the continued success of deterrence, the freedom of our people, the prosperity of our nation is going to be squarely in your hands. Thank goodness we have centers of excellence such as Embry-Riddle to train those hands and make them even more capable to assume these responsibilities. I want to thank you, President Tallman, and my thanks to all of you for the privilege of sharing this very special ceremony with you. I'm grateful for having been a part of your commencement, and grateful for being able to join with you in your affection and your appreciation of the university that's now your alma mater. Thank you for permitting me to plant in your mind at least one thing that I hope will be memorable from the person, whoever he was, that addressed you at your graduation. Wise men ne'er sit and wail their woes. They are up and a-doing presently to prevent the ways to wail. God bless you all in the magnificent life that lies ahead. Thank you.
We appreciate that, General Doherty. Those words will stay with us. And I'll try not to flip the pages too hard here. Each trimester, an outstanding graduating senior is selected for the Chancellor's Award. Now, the candidates for this award of distinction are selected on the basis of academic excellence, campus activities, as well as contributions to both the university and the local community. Now, these students are our leaders. They're the ones who challenge the others around them to think, to question, and to act. The candidates for this award are recommended by representatives of the faculty, the staff, and the student body. And the selection for this honor reflects campus-wide recognition of the recipient's outstanding accomplishments. I am very pleased today to announce the senior who is receiving the Chancellor's Award. Leslie A. Peters, will you please come forward? I think you can see that. Today, Leslie is receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Studies with a concentration in Air Transportation Management. She earned her degree with the highest honors, summa cum laude, having earned a grade point average of 3.98. Now, that means that the very first course she took at Embry-Riddle was a B. And after that, she decided she didn't want any more of that, so it's been all A's ever since. She's been on the National Dean's List for 4 years, received a Merit Award for a technical report, and was a semi-finalist for the National Dean's List Scholarship. In addition to her outstanding academic performance, Leslie has worked on campus in several jobs, including an assistant in the Office of Institutional Research. She held a co-op position in NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C., and on the campus, she's been extremely active in the Senior Class Council, the Management Club, as well as numerous other organizations. Following her graduation, Leslie has accepted a position as a financial analyst for Pan American in New York City. And she does plan to continue her education and obtain a master's degree in finance. Leslie, you truly exemplify the outstanding qualities and accomplishments embodied in the Chancellor's Award. You've seen how your fellow classmates feel about it, and we're very proud to honor you with this award and to recognize you as an outstanding graduate of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you to the Chancellor and to the nominating committee, and I just want to say that I look forward to continuing to be a favorable representative of this university out in the industry. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Senior Class President, Gerald Weitzel. Jerry?
General Tallman, General Spruance, Mr. Paul Riddle, Chancellor Dutton, General Doherty, Mr. Austin Combs, Vice Chancellors, Academic Deans, Directors and Administrators, members of the Board of Visitors and Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, parents and friends, faculty and staff, and my classmates, good morning. On behalf of the graduating class of summer 1986, I would like to extend a warm welcome. In this 60th anniversary here at Embry-Riddle, we are very much a part of the celebration and are very proud to be the class of '86. When I was first elected Senior Class President, I talked to Chancellor Dutton and President Tallman right away about my commitment to involve our senior class in alumni relations as soon as possible. After I and many of the Senior Class Council members attended a very successful alumni reunion here the last weekend of July, I feel I fulfilled that promise. Now that we all are about to become alumni, I want very much for what we have initiated to continue. I wish to thank General Tallman and Chancellor Dutton for their assistance. Every trimester, the graduating class presents a class project to the university and the president, donated to beautify the campus or to purchase an item needed for the university. We, the summer graduating class of '86, have presented two very special projects to our university. we have purchased a custom-designed locking glass enclosure for the earlier class of 1986's and L5 Aerospace Society's Space Shuttle Challenger portrait. This will ensure a safe and secure environment for the portrait. We have also, working with the university, donated funds to commission an artist to paint a portrait of our founding co-father, T. Higbee Embry. His portrait will hang in our university center alongside the portraits of Mr. Riddle and former President Jack R. Hunt. Our class will be able to return to this university for many years and see that our hard work and class unity are alive and well. These projects, though, would not have been possible without the assistance of many very special people. Which brings me to what my speaking to you this morning is all about: thanks and fulfillment. The last 4 years of our lives have been spent here at Embry-Riddle, learning, growing, laughing, helping, and most very important of all, fulfilling. Fulfilling the dreams and goals that were set by us and for us to successfully continue that building process, no longer as a group, but as individuals, be it into the military, as a leader, or a civilian. We have the ability to be these leaders, not followers. The base that we have built for ourselves could not have been possible without the people that you see around us, the faculty and staff of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, which is the other main point of my speech: thanks. I, along with my classmates, would like to say thanks for providing us, whether we thought at the time we needed it or not, with guidance. Guidance through teaching, listening, directing, or the occasional war story. This all has helped us get where we are today. But the most important thanks is reserved for someone else. It is for those two very special people sitting right out there. For without those two very special people, there is no way that we could be where we are. When I think of what my parents have done for me, I sometimes feel it's going to take a lifetime to repay them. I wish to say, and I am sure that my peers will agree with me when I say, thank you, Mom and Dad, I love you dearly. All the time, effort, and phone bills have finally paid off. We made it. You, Mom and Dad, have given us your love, wisdom, and hope, and it is now time for us, as college graduates, to pursue what you so generously helped us to start, our own successful careers. We are on the threshold of entering an industry that literally lives and changes day to day. We all know what we want. It's just a matter of going out there and achieving it. I'd like to say that I've always tried to accomplish tasks by looking forward towards the future, always having something to strive for. I do this because of something that a football coach once told me. He said, if you lose your dream, a dream you have worked so hard for, that one dream that you know that you can achieve, he said, if you lose your dream, a part of you dies. Our class now have these dreams. And we, I promise, are not the dreamers who say, I could have, or I should have, or maybe if things were different. We are the aviation leaders of tomorrow, and now we make this promise to all of you. We will not let a could have or a should have get in our way. Once again, as president of my graduating class, I wish to say thank you, and to all my classmates, good luck. At this time, on behalf of the graduating class of August 1986, I would like to present the Outstanding Faculty Awards. These two people were chosen by us, the graduating class, from among all the faculty members here at Embry-Riddle. They truly are the best of the best. From the College of Engineering and Aviation Science, I would like to recognize Mr. John Gannon, who could not be with us today. Accepting on behalf of him is Dr. Schimmel, the acting dean of the College of Aviation and Engineering Science. We, the graduating class, present this Outstanding Faculty Award presented to John Gannon for exemplifying the highest ideals of the teaching profession. August 16, 1986. Aviation Technology, will Mr. Mason Aldrich please come forward. On behalf of the August 86 graduating class, this is presented to Mason Aldrich for exemplifying the highest ideals of the teaching profession. Congratulations. Thank you. Guests, parents, faculty and staff, fellow graduates. We look forward to the future, our future, with great dreams and very high hopes. Thank you all for the unforgettable experiences we have enjoyed. My classmates, good luck in fulfilling every dream and future endeavor that you encounter. And may God watch you and bless you until we all meet again. Thank you.
Embry-Riddle is fortunate to have several Armed Forces commissioning programs active on the Daytona Beach campus. The Air Force ROTC detachment has the largest enrollment of any civilian institution and is number 2 in total numbers only to Texas A&M, while the Army ROTC detachment is one of the highest growth programs in the nation. 9 of our graduates today have become the newest second lieutenants in the nation's armed forces, 6 in the United States Army, 2 in the Air Force, and 1 in the Marine Corps. We're very proud of these people. I would like them all to stand and be recognized. The nation's newest second lieutenants. Please stand. Waiting for graduation exercise. The graduation exercises will now be conducted by R. Luther Reisbig, the Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs of the Daytona Beach campus. Dr. Reisbig.
Graduates completing their degrees with honors will be recognized when their names are announced as they cross the stage. Graduates wearing white cords have achieved grade point averages of between 3.5 and 3.69 and are graduating cum laude. Graduates wearing red cords have achieved grade point averages of between 3.7 and 3.89 and are graduating magna cum laude, while graduates wearing gold cords have earned a grade point average of between 3.9 and 4.0 and are graduating summa cum laude. The program chairman will now present their candidates for the associate's and bachelor's degrees.
Bruce R. Morin, Willie A. Anderson, William J. Barron, Rhonda A. Cathy, Ronald B. Carlson, Willie L. Davis, Juan J. Garcia, magna cum laude, Jerry L. Goodwin, cum laude, Steve Huey, Eileen R. Keating, Richard R. Neer, Larry G. Peoples, James M. Price, Jose M. Rivera, Thomas G. Smith, Hiram Torres, Joseph Versaloni. And now candidates for the degree of Associate in Aviation Maintenance Technology, Program Chairman Paul F. Taylor, James G. Anderson, John A. Bills, Ronald Cantrelli, Paul J. Dean, Charles R. Fleming, Brian W. Heffig, Thomas E. Lutz, Michael F. Palachucci, Steve Reisner, David J. Vestal, Frank A. Betza. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Technology, Program Chairman E. Nolan Coleman, Rene Alvarez Jr., Gregory A. Kraft, Member Senior Class Council, Delbert Duncan, Cyrus Fitton, William Giranelli, Dixon Gutierrez, James M. Lane, cum laude, Cameron G. Lee, Edwin Lopez Jr., Second Lieutenant George P. Modrak, Martin L. Morochik, Bruce Michael Nally, Carlo Pastel, Tallman C. Sharp, Mark E. Will. Now candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Studies, Program Chairman Bruce R. Morin, Mehed Alloway, Who's Who 85-86, Omar Aswa, William Burnett, Michael R. Biro, cum laude, Arlen R. Bowen, Matthew Brown, Marcus Gerald Burke, Timothy Edmond, John Felton, David Ferrucci, Member Senior Class Council, Walter Fisher, Dawn Harden, Carrie Hine, Member Senior Class Council, Carl Hurst, Member Senior Class Council, Gerald R. Jenko, Member Senior Class Council, William F. Lark, Eta Mu Sigma Omicron Delta Kappa, Carla R. Marchione, Thomas J. Martini, James C. Nelson, Leslie A. Peters, Treasurer, Senior Class Council, summa cum laude, Dennis J. Rehak, Second Lieutenant Gregory A. Reed, Member Senior Class Council, Theodore F. Reshitar, Mark D. Selby, Nikita Fitzgerald Selden. Jody K. Smith. Roger E. Sonnenfeld, Eta Mu Sigma, cum laude. Laura L. Stevens, Eta Mu Sigma, Omicron Delta Kappa, Who's Who 8586, cum laude. George Taggart. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Jeffrey S. Voorhees. Candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Aeronautical Science, Program Chairman William V. Gruber, John Blair, Charles E. Markham, candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Science, Program Chairman William V. Gruber, Michael Bapka, Claire Bradford, Member, Senior Class Council, Darren P. Chapman, Thomas H. Curtis, Jr., Michael A. Day, Corin Drodre, Malcolm J. Dryden, Russell Gibbs, John M. James, Arvid Johansson, Lawrence Edward Jorash, Member, Senior Class Council, James H. Kelly, Michael B. Cohn, Clayton T. Kraut, Christian J. Larson, Member, Senior Class Council, John F. Mack, Richard E. McCarthy, Cheryl J. Metzger, Audrey L. Norman, Scott A. Nutter, Member, Senior Class Council, John B. Patterson, Bart M. Pritz, Philip Proctor, James D. Rainey, Stephen K. Robinson, Second Lieutenant Todd C. Shipp, John J. Senesi, Member, Senior Class Council, Vladislav Slap, Stephen M. Smith, Timothy Michael Smith, cum laude, James H. Stone, Eric R. Strandberg, Lisa A. Swersman, Second Lieutenant Patrick J. Tappan, Pierre Bullison, Gerald L. Whitesell, President, Senior Class Council, President, Senior Class, Anthony N. Sicaro, Daniel T. Zack. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science with Aviation Applications. Program Chairman Abafazl Salami. Sakir Al-Krishsha. Frank Botway. Scott Craighead. Kristen B. Davis. Jean B. Gallo. Wesley R. Hazelworth. Christopher James. Eugene Lau Koo. Desmond J. Lobo. Jose I. Maldonado. Sean B. Owens. Robert C. Porter. John H. Scholander. John E. Slosky. Eric T. Smallwood. Joseph P. Torch. Candidate for the degree of Associate in Science in Aviation Business Administration. Program Chairman Donald J. Campbell. Kathleen H. Ballinger. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Business Administration. Program Chairman Donald Campbell. Dawn Fink, Vice President, Senior Class Counsel, who's 28586, cum laude. Francesca L. Mucci. William M. Walsh. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Michael G. Cox. William W. Evans. Richard R. Foote. Thomas T. Gately, Jr., Member, Senior Class Counsel. Martin Green, Secretary, Senior Class Counsel. Scott Groves. Jeffrey J. Hunt, Eta Mu Sigma, Member, Senior Class Counsel, who's 28586, cum laude. Daniel J. Saunders. Michael J. Simon. Second Lieutenant Brian M. Scamra. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Administration. Program Chairman Donald Campbell. Lois E. Chambers Daly. David Foster. Candidates for the degree of Associate in Science in Aviation Management. Program Chairman Don Campbell. Cheryl Stemrich. Candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aviation Management. Program Chairman Don Campbell. Ian M. Blackman, Omicron Delta Kappa, Member, Senior Class Counsel, summa cum laude. Douglas E. Dean. Brenda M. Dembski, who's 8586. David H. Kra, Adamu Sigma, cum laude. Ranzi F. Latumaina. Jennifer E. Nolte. Elliot S. Phipps. Greg A. Rorabaugh, member Senior Class Council. Brian B. Rumble, Secretary and Treasurer, Senior Class Council. Laureen E. Summers. Marinthea N. Zuno. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aircraft Engineering Technology, Program Chairman, Dr. Walter P. Schimmel. Francisco Gournay. David R. Harriman. Second Lieutenant, United States Air Force, Lester E. Preston. Christopher S. Thompson. Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering, Program Chairman, Dr. Walter P. Schimmel. Maria Georgina Abizilan. Hisham A. Al-Hashim. Margaret C. Babcock. Christopher P. Butler. Second Lieutenant Steve Tetsus. Craig S. Masters. Juma E. Milad. David B. Millis. Second Lieutenant Frank J. Quintero. Joachim Schimmelfingnick. Hubert H. Center, Jr. Antonio M. Soto. Dong Tran. Bruce E. Tremblay, Omicron Delta Kappa, Sigma Gamma Tau, member Senior Class Council, magna cum laude. Kenneth A. Watts. Jack B. Welch. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduate students will now receive their diplomas and will be hooded by Chancellor Doughton and Vice Chancellor Reisvik. Candidates for the degree of Master of Aeronautical Science. Frank A. Cleveland. Arthur M. Romano. Richard E. Talley. Youssef Tassan. Candidates for the degree of Master of Aviation Management: William K. Ahuli. Baba Mohammed. Candidates for the degree of Master of Business Administration in Aviation: Vanoy Banks. Leslie E. Kostner. Michael A. Meyer. Michael A. Pepin. Raymond Francis Posa. Amir Qureshi. Ariberto Rivera. Khalid Tuhami. Michael L. Turco. Wen Zhang Ten.
Will all the candidates for the degrees please rise? Mr. Combs, upon the recommendation of the faculty of the university, it is my honor to present to you these graduates.
Trustees, I hereby confer upon you as appropriate the associate's degree, the associate's in science degree, the bachelor's degree, the bachelor's of science degree, and the master's degree, with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassels from right to left.
Special honor today, and it is my honor to present a posthumous degree of the Bachelor of Aeronautics to Mrs. Alice Devane. Her son, Alan C. Devane, was a senior aviation administration major at Embry-Riddle until his untimely death last May. We are all saddened by the loss of Alan. Mrs. Devane, would you come forward, please, and accept this degree? And now General William W. Spruance, the chairman of the University Board of Trustees, will conduct the conferring of the honorary degree. General Spruance.
General Russell E. Doherty, U.S. Air Force, retired and a native of Glasgow, Kentucky, has had a long and illustrious career. Serving as an enlisted member of the Kentucky Army National Guard, he joined the Army Air Corps as an aviation cadet at the outbreak of World War II. General Doherty rose through the ranks of the Air Force to become Commander-in-Chief of the Strategic Air Command and Director of U.S. Strategic Target Planning. He has been associated with the U.S. strategic missile programs since the early days of the Atlas, and has flown many of the operational aircraft of the Air Force, from the B-17s and B-29s of World War II to the high-tech aircraft of today, such as the SR-71 and F-15. Early in 1977, General Doherty flew as pilot on the first full-length simulated strategic mission in the new B-1 bomber. General Doherty is a graduate of Western Kentucky University and earned his law degree from the University of Louisville. In addition, he has received several honorary degrees and numerous other citations and awards. Since his retirement from the Air Force in 1977, General Doherty has served as Executive Director of the 200,000-member Air Force Association and of the Aerospace Education Foundation. In this role, he has worked to broaden public understanding of the role aerospace power plays in the welfare and security of our nation and all mankind. He retired from this position on the 31st of May of this year. In tribute to his distinguished career in the Air Force and as Executive Director of the Air Force Association, and to his many contributions towards strengthening the air power of this nation, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University is proud to confer on General Russell E. Doherty the degree of Honorary Doctorate of Aeronautical Science. Congratulations, Doctor.
I have to make this legal. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and upon recommendation of the faculty, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Aeronautical Science, honoris causa, with all the rights, privileges, honors, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Congratulations, sir.
And I'm proud to be your classmate.
Things General Doherty said about me, I don't think my father would have believed that was possible when I was sitting out there as you are now with my tassel ready to twitch it over.
graduating from Princeton, and I thought I was pretty damn smart, and a lot smarter than my father. Oddly enough, he's getting smarter every day, and he's been dead since 1935. But I don't envy some of the challenges that you all are faced with. After graduation, I hopped in my car and went to a party and got loaded and rolled it. You know, the police sort of helped me home, and that was all there was to it. If I'd done that today, I'd be in the slammer for sure. I knew one guy in college who once smoked what we call a reefer. That's a joint. One guy out of the whole class, out of the whole college in Princeton in 1939. Yeah, I hardly know anybody who hasn't now. But dope and aviation is incompatible. And one of the young aviators that I knew recently hauled some unidentified cargo. You know, heck, I didn't know what it was, he said. Well, then he got enmeshed in that bottomless pit. You know, it's like being a little bit pregnant. You get into that dope business, he's looking behind him, sitting in bars, wondering if somebody's behind him, and everybody thought, well, he's just been in some skimming a little money off or a little dope off the top. And then he disappeared. Well, he just figured they'd airdropped him into the swamp or put the cement shoes on him and launched him in the ocean. But lo and behold, on investigation, we discovered that one of the Latin American countries, which is economy of which is dope-oriented, in cooperation with our government, had asked his aircraft to land, and he'd refused to do the same, and they shot him down. Believe that or not. Now that will ruin your career on aviation. That was guaranteed. But on the other side, the co-pilot that I talked to on Eastern Airlines coming down here today said they all get the urinalysis, you know, and there's no second chance when you start fooling with that stuff. And I said, well, how do you keep from getting involved with something like that when there's so much of it around? He said, choose your friends. That's pretty good advice. And if you choose your friends and you use that ticket you got, that diploma, it'll put you in the top drawer in aviation. But remember, the pursuit of happiness isn't all dollars. It's the pursuit that's fun. And when you get some of that money, remember that Embry-Riddle gave you a good start. Be sure and give some of it back. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to make a special presentation on behalf of the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees. Ahmad Al-Thani, will you please come forward?
This is the resolution of the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, reading as this. Whereas Hamad Ali Jabbar Al-Thani, a senior majoring in professional aeronautics at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, did complete successfully a solo flight around the world while attempting to set 17 world speed records, and whereas he did gain great credit for his skills as an aviator and for his home country of Qatar on the Arabian Gulf, and whereas Hamad, aged 26, did fly a Piper Seneca II light twin-engine aircraft from Daytona Beach Regional Airport on December 20, 1985. And whereas he did circumnavigate the world with major flight legs from Daytona Beach to Gander, Newfoundland, Santa Maria, Azores, Faro, Portugal, Heraklion, Crete, Amman, Jordan, Kuwait City, Kuwait, Doha, Qatar, Madras, India, Singapore, Manila, Philippine Islands, Agana, Guam, Mayaro, Marshall Islands, Honolulu, Hawaii, San Jose, California, El Paso, Texas, returning to Daytona Beach on January 29, 1986. And whereas he did present Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University favorably and faithfully to the public and to the news media. Now, therefore, we, the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees of Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, do hereby resolve this special recognition adopted on February 5, 1986, to Hamad Ali Jabbar Al-Thani, and wish him well in all his future endeavors. Signed, President Coleman, and Chairman Bureau.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Executive Committee of the Board of Trustees for this award, and I wish the graduate class a successful career. I would like to thank the Chairman, the President, for a nice time I had in this university. Thank you all.
Ahmad, you really brought great credit on yourself as well as Embry-Riddle, so congratulations again. The interest and the dedication and the support of two groups of people play a very important part in the success of our university: the Board of Trustees and the Board of Visitors. Will any members of these boards present please stand so that we can recognize you? The Board of Trustees and the Board of Visitors. Members, please stand. In addition, the people who have had probably the closest relationship with our graduates over the past few years and who have played a major role in preparing them for their future careers are the faculty. Will the faculty please stand and be recognized?